Hello, EuroPython. My name is Mark Smith.
And my name is Elise, Kasai.
And we are going to be your co-hosts for the final lightning talk session of EuroPython 2024. Everybody go, ooh. But we have 10 amazing lightning talks for you this evening, if we have time to get through them all. And if we're efficient, we will. As you know the rules from the previous 2 days, the lightning talk speakers have a maximum of 5 minutes to give their talk. And at the end of the 5 minutes, if they reach that point, what do we do? Louder than that, louder than that. So it's the end of the conference and some people have gone home and we've had a really tiring couple of days and a big social event. So sometimes the energy isn't quite all that it was in the first 2 days. So it's up to all of you individually and together as a group to make sure that we're making the most noise we possibly can every time we need a big round of applause. So can we have another go at that massive round of applause, please? Yes, yes, that is more like it. Fantastic. So before we start, I would just like to remind everybody that just after this, we're going to have the sprint orientation. So if you are staying over the weekend for the sprints, that will let you know where it is and what's going to be happening there and kind of how to get involved. And I really highly recommend, if you haven't attended the sprints before, that you do. It's a great way to meet new people. So without further ado, before we start the lightning talks, we're going to have 2 event announcements. So can
Actually, 3.
3 event announcements. So yeah, take it away.
Okay, so slides is already on the screen. So I'm Filip, I'm organizing PyCon 2014, which will happen in Gliwice, it's south of Poland, at the end of August and beginning of September. It has 4 tracks at least, 4 talks and 2 for workshops. Most of content is in English. And of course there will be keynote talks, sessions of lightning talks and a social event. And workshops are included in the standard ticket of the conference. So where is Gliwice? It's in the south part of Poland, so close to the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And it's very, I would say, easy to get there because there are direct trains from multiple capitals and there are 2 airports, one of them big, so I guess you can easily get there. So that's all. Come to PyCon 2024.
Hello. I love Python community. I started organizing event in 2016 with PyCon Germany, then there were many PyCon Webs, PyCon Odessa in Ukraine twice. That was my favorite, the one in Odessa. But you know, the war. So our Ukrainian part of the team left Odessa. They moved to Wrocław. Stayed there for 2 years, and my co-organizer, Maria, was keep on telling me, like, Anton, we need to do something. Like, there is a space for so much more in this world. There are a lot of developers. And I say, hell yeah. So please welcome PyCon Wrocław. This is not official yet. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to use this name. I still need to clarify it with PSF. So we'll see about that, but the fact is, it is happening. And it is happening on 30th of November. You can mark the URL, PyCon Wrocław. If not, I will just make a redirect, that's fine. It is happening, and we are very happy to see the community also from Prague, because it's like, I think there is a train from Prague to Wrocław. I'm sure there is enough people, demand, and interest in as many events as we can throw in Europe. So let it be one more, please. Thank you very much.
So just in case you are not so much into Poland, you can go in France. So there is a PyCon France, so PyCon IFRA. It happened in the end of October, and you can apply if you want to speak, because the CFP is still open until the 21st. There is good food, amazing people, and if you want to visit France, this is a good way. And it's not Paris, so you should go. Thank you.
Okay, don't forget the Olympics are happening in Paris as well. Next up, we have Sukanya Mandal. She's going to give us a talk on OpenFHE Matrix Arithmetic Library. So, okay. I have a slight question here. It's more like a riddle or a question. It says here, apparently, why do Python programmers prefer dark mode? Anybody?
I don't know.
Apparently because the light attracts bugs. Is that the case? I didn't know. Okay.
This isn't the presentation. That's the second presentation on the second screen.
Can you? Do you really want to hear a tractor joke?
Where's the...
When is a tractor not a tractor?
Yeah.
When it turns into a field. None of them are any better than that. Don't clap that joke.
Okay.
What's a tractor's favorite programming language? Oh, you ready?
Yes.
Please don't let me interrupt you with these stupid jokes. Take it away.
Thank you. Hopefully this doesn't cut off my time, but I have a stopwatch, so I'll start. And I'm just going to talk about a software called OpenFHE. It's an open source software sponsored by NumFocus and Matrix Arithmetic Library particularly. So OpenFHE is a C++ homomorphic encryption library. There was a talk today afternoon. Just wanted to give it out to this widest audience now. It's formally affiliated with the NumFocus open source projects. Natively, it operates on encrypted vector of integers and real numbers, and we are looking to add encrypted matrix arithmetic library in C++ on top of OpenFHE and then expose it in an NumPy-like manner for Python developers. The intended users of the library are data scientists or analysts interested typically in privacy-preserving technologies, students and researchers as well. In a nutshell, I just mentioned OpenFHE is an open source full homomorphic encryption library. Some of the key features are it supports multiple FHE schemes, optimized for batch processing and SIMD operations. It provides Python and Lust bindings for application developers, and it's still actively being developed. Some of the use cases are privacy-preserving machine learning, secure multi-party computations, and encrypted database. About the matrix arithmetic library, so OpenFHE library provides support for homomorphic encryption and matrix arithmetic operations, including matrix vector multiplications, matrix multiplications, matrix inversions. And the goal, again, is to use this library for privacy-preserving ML for machine learning developers typically. And some of the intended features of the library that would have is are these: inner and outer vector products, matrix vector products, matrix diagonal extractions, transportations, permutations of vectors, permutations of rows or columns. And we're looking for contributors, typically with the skill sets, but if you are at all interested, feel free to reach out with the various set of skill sets as well, and some of the links are here. And if you could scan this QR code, it'll take you to a form if you want to submit an application. That's about it. I just ran through the presentation, but thank you.
Thank you, Sukanya. So next up, we have Miro Hrončok. Did I get that vaguely right?
Almost.
Oh, thank you.
Better than most.
With a mysterious case of distorted 3D models.
Canaan. What do I do?
We'll see how many tractor jokes this takes. No, 0 tractor jokes.
You would have to be
That's the
really
best
fast.
number.
Do you have any fast tractor jokes?
They're all fast.
Yeah, I know. So, hello. This is a 3D model in an app called OpenSCAD. It's not really important, but I'm showing it as an example. It's an app that allows you to define 3D models by writing code. Unfortunately, it looks more like C than Python, but it's probably fixable. And I found an interesting problem that doesn't relate to OpenSCAD at all. It's about libraries written in Python that are created to parse 3D models. So in case you don't know, such a 3D model like this is just a collection of a lot of triangles in a 3D space of floats and X, Y, Z axis. And yeah, so there was a Python library and it loaded the model like this. Or it straight out crashed. And I was like, what the hell is going on? This is nice and this is, well, probably interesting, but that's not what I wanted. And so people were reporting it, I was reporting it, and then the maintainers of the libraries, I thought some from the west of us, they didn't see this bug. But I saw it, and some friends east of me, they see it as well. And I was like, is it where we are located, or how does this even work? What's happening? So to understand the 3D model, imagine you have a file with a lot of floats in it. It's a text file with a lot of floats in it. So I actually counted, and in this model, there is more than 100,000 floats in the file. So reading 100,000 floats in Python is slow. So let's use something faster, right? So the library used this cool project called Cython, and this is just a simplified, very simplified code. They also handled like opening the files and reading it. But the interesting bit came here. This is the function in C that they used, and I heard today that it's the forbidden language, and that's the reason why this is all happening, as you will see. Anyway, this works. You give it a line as bytes, because that's faster, and it gives you the float. And that looks a little bit different, and if you know floats, you know why, but that's not the point. So the point is that if you use the library in a Qt application with PySide or PyQt the same, this parses as 3.0. What? Or you use a matplotlib to render the model using something else, and it also parses to 3.0. Interestingly, my friends in the West, they still couldn't reproduce this. So the reason is the Qt and matplotlib applications call setlocale by default, and my local is Czech, and we use a decimal comma. And this is how scanf works. So if you give it a dot, it just parses it as 3, like the part before the dot. And it's a success, right? Because it's a number. You actually have to give it a comma if you have a Czech locale or Russian locale or Slovak locale, whatever. So if you look at the picture again, it just means that all the floats were floored to the integer value, and this is how the 3D model looked. And the reason that none of the upstream maintainers were able to reproduce is because they had English locales with decimal dots. And I found that interesting, and I wanted to share it with you. Normally, I deal with Python packaging for Fedora. In my free time, I deal with cat packaging. Or dog herding, and if you want to see my rants on open source software, Fedora, Python, or pictures of my pets, you can follow me on Mastodon. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Ester Beltrami. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but she's going to show us how to from Italia import.
Which is the right cable? Okay, I figured it out. Shit.
Take your time.
Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Then present, interview, present, enter full screen mode. Okay, then this thing need to go somewhere there. Yes. Okay. So yeah. Hello, I'm Esther. I'm a web developer, and I'm part of the PyCon Italia organizer. This year we had this cool T-shirt, and I created this package. Italia is on GitHub, is on PyPy. You can download it and play with it. But sadly, this import, I swear you, will not work on normal Python. I don't know how Luca did. But anyway, on Python 3.12 will throw an error. This is because the emoji, as far as I know, are not valid identifier in Python, and I thought was for some security reasons in some discussion I heard. But anyway, I want to implement this because it's super cool. So yeah, I basically, on my way here, I listened like 2 hours flight to the core PY Python, and I got inspired, and I thought, yeah, I know Python, see Python now. So how hard can it be? Turned out it's more complicated than this, at least for me, in 3 days. So, of course, I asked someone who really knows his stuff. So I asked, of course, ChatGPT first. And he told me basically to modify some file that don't even exist, so that was not helping. But here we are at EuroPython, we have a bunch of core dev I can bother. So yeah, I was too shy for that. So to bother them for such an important features, of course, I have to write a PEP first. So I bothered Christian instead, and he helped me figure out how to do the trick. And I think if you see the keynote, Lucas, this is not how you would implement it. I will ask him how he did it. So basically, you have to fork CPython, and I fork on the Python Italia repo, because this Python speaks Italian now. And to make it speaks Italian and to understand which Python are you dealing with, I add to the sys an Italian attribute, Italian, because I didn't know how to do the Boolean in CPython, and you can check. And then the way I work it out is to create a function, and basically to somewhere in the lecture just skip the tokens of this emoji that are 4 bytes and basically substitute with a legal letter. So yeah, bit of magic. Thanks, Christian, for that. And then in our Italia package, we can do, basically, I want this package to work and not explode in all the Python, regular Python. So I check if it's Italian, and then add to the globals the function identify as pinchy fingers. So yeah, but why stop there just with this import? We can also do like the code, we can write the code in Italian, so you can write your spaghetti code in Italian as well. I have to... Dove sta? Qua. Okay, yeah. So basically, oh God. Okay, I have my Python that I compile myself. I activate the virtual environment. I install Python Italia, and then I will, I can do like from Italian import this. Oops, I don't know which Python. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. It's not my Python, and maybe it's the wrong terminal. No. Well, anyway. Where is that? I don't know. Oops. I think which Python? This is the Python I know about. Anyway, I promise it will work. I don't know. I messed it up with terminals. I have too many terminals. Anyway, yeah, if you, the slides, the slide, okay? Yeah, and also I configured the traceback to like speaks Italian as well. And yeah, if you have any other cool ideas, just make an issue on the PyCon Italia repo. And yeah, I'm looking for a job, so.
Thank you, Esther.
Okay, I promise I can also write clean code.
It's always a risk, always a risk trying to run a live demo on stage. I like that a lot. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce Mark Shannon, who is going to tell us how the cycle garbage collector works.
Once I've played with the settings. There's nothing up there, is there now? What's going on here? What? Oh, well, I see. I have no idea how that worked, but never mind. Okay. So, yeah, all professionally drawn. It's professionally drawn because I did this on work time, so it's done professionally. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can get the page down to work. Tell you about cycle collection. So as you probably all know, or mostly know, CPython manages memory by reference counting. The idea being that the number of references to an object is reflected in a count held internally in the object. And that works pretty well, except for one flaw. So in the code above, you can see we're going to create a list, append the list to itself, and then delete any reference to that list. And the list has a reference to itself, so its reference count remains as 1. So even though that's garbage, it can't be collected. So, oh, all right, and I've been told that apparently it's better with syntax highlighting, so, hold on. Where's the page down here? Okay, so, so obviously we need some system to collect these cycles. So imagine we have cycles, have we got a timer for this? Because I forgot to start mine.
It's okay, we have one going.
Do I see it? Okay, fine. Right. Let's get the page down to work. Okay, right. So we've got a couple of little bits of object cycles in memory. And the top one is unreachable. It's just garbage because all the reference counts are 1, but as you can see, there's no incoming references. The lower one, which is reachable, one of the objects has a reference count of 2. So imagine we've got some chunk of memory. We need some mechanism of like removing these. So what we use is what's called, what's called trial deletion. So what we do in trial deletion is we try and delete everything. So what we do is reduce the reference count for each object by the number of incoming references. So in the top, we've reduced everything to 0, and the bottom one, mostly 0. So unfortunately, not everything that's 0 is garbage. So we have to do a second step, which is we then mark anything that has a non-zero reference count, and anything that's reachable from that also gets marked. So anything with it, so actually we've got all these zeros at the top, they're unreachable, and all the x's at the bottom are reachable. There's more complexity to do with weak references and finalizers, but that's just extra complication. I'll just skip over here. Okay, so that previous thing, we have this area of memory. So how do we select an area of memory in which to look for cycles? So in all current versions of Python, that's up until 3.12, we use a generational collection. So each object as it's created gets put in the young collection, and that's area, and that's usually kept small. That's like 1,000 objects or something. We do the trial deletion on that area, and then move any survivors into the aging collection, and then less frequently do collection on the aging collection, and then less frequency still, we do it on the old collection. Now, old collection is the whole heap. So that can be a bit of a problem if you've got like a 3-5 gigabyte heap they can get quite slow. There's long pauses. So what we're going to do in 3.13 onwards is what's called incremental collection. We still have the young collection because that's still quite profitable. A lot of objects die young. It's called the weak generational hypothesis. And it's weak because it doesn't always true, but it's sort of mostly true. And then we move them into the old collection, but we collect the old generation incrementally, so it keeps the pauses down considerably. And the way we do that is we just basically grab an object and try and find all the reachable objects for it, and then treat that as an increment. And that's guaranteed that any cycles that are present will be all within one increment. So we can do as single increments and do those incrementally over the lifetime of the program. And that's basically it, I think.
Thank you, Mark. Next up, we have Emma Cooke, and she's going to bless our ears with a EuroPython poem.
Hi, all. My name is Emma. I've no slides to connect or anything, so I can dive right in. This has been my first week, my first time at EuroPython, and I have written a poem about the experience that I would like to share with you all. In the heart of Europe, the coders convene. For me, a first-timer, a sight unseen. What will greet me as I walk through the door to the biggest nerd convention of 2024? An opener by Carol Willing, and I am immediately inspired. What a legend, a maverick, one to be admired. You see, as a young girl in the Irish school system, there was no talk of coding, not a hint of algorithm. But over the years, I developed my skills, found my people. I was eager to learn from the complex to the simple. So on to my first talk, and I must admit I mixed up A and B and ended up in a talk I didn't really intend to see, but it was brilliant, of course, and that's the beauty, I suppose, of being at a conference where you're kept on your toes. Truly, it has been a whirlwind of days. Now I'm just running on caffeine, operating in a bit of a haze. There were certainly some insightful talks and lessons, but please, just for now, no more questions. I love the keynotes, and Teresa and Mai made it clear. Diversity and inclusion keep good people near. I believe the tide is turning. Embrace change, and you will see how we can create a more equitable community. Because community can be hard to come by, but you Pythonistas have made it so. If you are kind and considerate, there is a programming home where you can go. Where ancient cobblestones meet with tech revolutions, we dive into for loops, frameworks, solutions. Where digital debates brew over coffee and beer, let's gather together to code without fear. So here's to you all, the coders, dreamers, doers, with every bite, you passion renewers. May this festival of Python ever thrive in the beating heart of Europe, alive, alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. You know, the worst thing about these handheld microphones is you don't get to clap along. So it always feels bad. So next, we have, excuse me, it's very small text, and I'm quite an old man these days. Thomas Ganahl, who's going to talk to us about testing hardware specs with Pytest. Oh, he's doing frustrated gestures now. So the same farmer I was talking about earlier drove his tractor into a field, a different field this time.
I don't know.
And it immediately got stuck. Wouldn't move left, right, forwards, or backwards. Eventually he worked out it was a magnetic field.
Yeah, so hello from my side. It's also my first EuroPython. Yeah, to be a little bit more clickbaity, we can also tell how Python helps to make the electrical power grid safe, secure, and reliable. So who am I? My name is Thomas. I have to confess, I'm a hardware engineer. I'm not a software engineer, but I code Python since 14 years. And so a quick step into my area. So I think everybody of you should know the thing on the left side. It's a circuit breaker. Everybody has in his household electrical system. And what you see on the right side is basically a big circuit breaker with the control device. And this control device needs to be regularly tested. And as you can throw a tree in every high voltage line to just test if the protection works, we kind of mock this failure. So we have here our nice device, which is just injecting into this normal device the failures and checks if the device trips the circuit breaker. Yeah, what has all this to do with Python? So that's somehow one of our setups. We have here a big climate chamber, 19-inch rack full of measurement equipment, and we use Pytest to automate all that stuff. There is a big relay matrix which is connecting the outputs of our device with the measurement equipment, because we have to ensure that the accuracy of our outputs is more precise than the devices we test with it. And yeah, we would be happy if anyone is interested to share also his attitude to hardware, because kinda our team are a little bit outstanding or not too software sided, but we have done a lot in this area and are highly encouraged to share our knowledge there and connect with other people. Thanks from my side.
Thank you, Thomas. Next up, we have Reuven. I'm not sure if any of you actually know the do's and don'ts of creating a PowerPoint slide or just general slides. Does anybody know, perhaps, the do's and don'ts? Well, I don't know either, so I think Mr. Reuven over here can enlighten us. So give it up for Mr. Reuven. Can we give a hand of applause for him? Okay. And he's going to take us through this do's and don'ts.
It's not showing up. But other than that. Oh, it is? Oh, excellent. Hey, everyone. I'm Reuven Lerner. I teach Python and Pandas for a living all over the place. I have books, I have lectures, I have all sorts of things. I have Bamboo Weekly, where every week I ask you questions about current events and practice your Panda skills. What was in current events recently that I could ask about? I know. Anyway, the thing is, public speaking is hard. Explaining things is a separate skill from knowing things. It's really easy to get nervous in front of people. Talking and explaining and, oh yeah, designing slides. Doing all that together is guaranteed to get people nervous. The thing is, public speaking is a skill. You can learn it, you can get better at it, and being a better communicator, whether it's speaking or writing, makes you a better developer. So we come together at EuroPython and other conferences that I go to, and we try to help each other, and we communicate with each other. And some people are fantastic at it, and some people are less fantastic at it, and everyone can get better at it. So here's a little bit of advice from what I've seen over the last number of conferences, and truth be told, things that I've improved on my own as well. The first thing, don't cover too much. It's so tempting. Oh, I'm gonna have to leave things out. I have so much to share. Yeah, that's true. But you have limited time, and people can't handle high speed, information on lots of things. A focused short talk is way better than an unfocused long talk, which is better than an unfocused short talk. And here's what you should definitely not do. Oh, I'm low on time, I'll just talk faster. So how do you not run out of time? First of all, no one complains when a talk ends early, especially before lunch. All right, no one likes rushing through the end of slides. Oh, I've got 10 slides, hold on, I'll just go through them fast. It basically means you didn't practice or focus enough. Here's another thing I see people do. They're like, oh, you know, I'm not an expert, I've never presented before, I hope this goes well, I hope my mother doesn't see this. Don't do that, don't do that. All right, use slides usually. Why? Why should you do that? I use Jupyter every day when I teach. The thing is, slides are faster, there's no doubt about it. Some people can pull it off, most of us can't. Make the text large, folks. Come on, come on. Use highly contrasting colors. Come on. Also, limit the amount of text you put per slide. Don't have a wall of text. It's okay to use more slides. You're not charged by the slide. Or take that as a hint and reduce the scope of your talk. Do include graphs, because people absorb graphical information much faster. So here's from my talk a few days ago on pi-arrow and pandas, and I wanted to show people how much faster pi-arrow was. And I said, I know, I'll show them the number, and I'll even highlight it. Quick, which is faster? Oh, yeah, you know what? Put in a graph, then it's clearer. Don't use dark mode. I know, I'm old. It's cool if you're young to use dark mode, but people can't see it. Dark text on a light background, right? Bad is white on black. Worse is purple on black. I've seen people do this. Purple on black and gray on black. I mean, like, come on. And then in a tiny font, I actually have seen people move to the front row, lean forward and squint to try to see the slides. That is a bad sign, friends. Instead, use light mode. Even better, point to what you are talking about, right? I'm bad at animation, but even I can do this. Speak slowly. I know, I'm like the #1 violator of this rule. But the less you say, the more impact it'll have. Don't read your notes verbatim. It's boring. You'll sound unenthusiastic. Practice, get natural with it. Do solve a common painful problem, right? That's what people want. And speak about something you want to learn about. Get feedback from people, from peers. Go to Stack Overflow and look up the topic and see what people are asking about. Ask ChatGPT what it thinks. By the way, it'll always say, what a brilliant talk, but, and then it'll give you ideas. Such a suck up, that ChatGPT. Get better over time. It's a skill, as I said. And here's the most important thing about presenting: enjoy. If you are having fun giving a presentation, people are having fun listening to it. It's okay to laugh at your own jokes. I give you permission. All right, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Reuven. And if you are nervous about speaking, but you feel you might have something to say, you know the best place to start your speaking career is during the lightning talks. That's really why we do this, is to help widen the funnel of new speakers coming into the Python community. That's how I started my speaking career. Started with a 5-minute talk, turned into a full-time talk. Now I introduce lightning talk presenters from time to time. And now we have Rodrigo with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I'm going to break all of your rules, Reuven, because I'm short on time and I think talking fast will make everyone more excited. So, hello everyone. This is going to be the first edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now, please don't sue me. The image isn't mine. There's actually no money involved, and this is not endorsed by the actual program. So I'm going to need some volunteers, so start prepping to get up. This is the Python. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Obviously, EuroPython, come on. So the playing levels, we're going to start at the junior level, we're going to go up to the mid level, senior, hopefully core dev, and then if you folks really get it right, we're still going to try and play for the Guido level. Question number 1, we're starting at junior, let's try to achieve mid level. Who wants to play? Please, I need someone, a volunteer. Come on, someone must be brave enough. You're all very shy. I see someone getting up, but they're leaving, that's fine. So, the first question, are you a volunteer? Are you leaving as well? Oh, you don't have to come here, thank you. This is too easy for you. No, don't come here because it's going to take too long. Now you're here already, join me. So, what's the output of the following Python program? Option A, this. Option B, this. C, and D. But wait. There's hints. Do you want to use your superpower? Okay. Let's base 64 decode this. So, option A, B, C, or D? There's a screen there, it's easier.
Okay. Probably the E.
Probably A, excellent. Do you folks agree? Yes. Round of applause for Maxime because it's right. Woohoo! Excellent, thank you. I need someone to help me get from mid to senior. Do I get a volunteer? Please don't come up here. Can someone just stand up? Where's Seb? You got up earlier, so now it's your turn. Sorry, I know your name. Alrighty, so how many soft keywords does Python 3.12 have? And soft versus hard, so hard is the rock, soft is the pillow, we're going for the pillow. 0 soft keywords, 2 soft keywords, 4 soft keywords, or 8 soft keywords? Now wait, you have some help. I asked the same question to ChatGPT. Do you want to know what ChatGPT replied? ChatGPT said 8. Do you want to go with 8, or are you going to risk something else? You can't ask the audience. What is it going to be? You have 3 seconds because I'm low on time. Yes. Okay, so let's say that let's go with D, because ChatGPT said it, so it must be right. But it's not. The correct answer was 4. Now, I talked about this online, and Pablo commented saying I was not an idiot, so this is Pablo approved. Thank you. From senior to core dev, who's brave enough to try and reply to this question? Am I going to have to call out someone? Okay, let's go. I can't read your name from here, sorry, I have good eyesight, but not that good. How many times does the Python 3.12 docs glossary, is that the way you say this? I don't know. Mention the word dunder. Is it A, 0 times, 2 times, 15 times, or 42 times? What's your guess? 2. Try something else? Wait. Do you want to get help from the audience? Does someone know the answer? 42. It's not 42. Try something else. It's 0. Wait, yes, so you use the, it was 0. You're correct. Congratulations, you're now a core dev. Woo! And for the final question, from core dev to Guido, what does the following Python 2 code output? And I broke syntax highlighting, but I swear the code runs. Do I have a core dev that's brave enough to try and answer this? Can I get someone to shout an answer? It's what? It's not C. Can I get another answer? It's not B. Can I get another answer? What? A the letter or A the option? I can give you some help. Let's flip it upside down. But it was A. The letter, not the option. Thank you. This was the first edition ever. See you next year. Woo!
Thank you. Okay, next we have Rudolfs Berzins. Don't know if I pronounce it right. Okay, so he's going to give us an introduction on how to level up your presentations with better screenshots.
Okay, that's a high praise after a game show, and like I literally, when the Reuven was giving a presentation, I was adding red arrows to my presentation, so I'm sorry about that. And it's in dark mode, so yeah. So where am I? I'm here. There we go. Here we go. Okay, so yeah. Better screenshots for code, very, very highly opinionated presentation. But yeah, my name's Rudolfs Berzins. That's not really important right now. But yeah, let's go. So have you ever taken a screenshot of your code? Show of hands. That's what I thought. I'm also there. Have you ever taken a bad screenshot of your code? Very relatable, thank you. So have you ever been in a situation like this where a boss or a manager comes and now you have to make a presentation for our clients showing our code and maybe some of the input data all in kind of like slides because they like slides. And you say, yeah, sure, when do you need it? I'm kind of free right now in 30 minutes. And then you kind of like, oh, okay. And then if you're kind of like maybe if we go for the categories, if you're a junior developer then that was given in the previous, then you maybe do something like this. And then this works, but this is not nice, right? Like there's kind of some like highlighting, but it's kind of in dark mode, but not really, and it doesn't look very good, right? Then you could also try something like this, right? So you kind of like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna split it, and then I have like on one side I have the code, and then on the other side I have my data that I want to show, and this is where I added the red arrows. But then you, for example, like, I'm just writing an example. I don't really want to import pandas for example, right? But like, how do I get rid of the squiggly line? There's probably a way of doing that in VS Code, but I'm just too lazy for doing that. And then there's also like the little cool display which shows your code, and then it's like, oh, you save the file. So VS Code really helps you where it actually is, but it kind of messes everything up. And then you think, okay, like, well, I can just move it into the code and do something like this, right? But then you lose the syntax highlighting, and then like it's kind of like looks out of place. And then, well, I didn't use red arrows here, but where's my mouse? Yeah, but then you maybe like, I don't know, cut some like letters, and then it doesn't look like some numbers, and then it doesn't look very good. So, but what if I told you that you can do this? And it's like, and it's just chef's kiss, and like, and everybody in the presentation is like, oh my God, how did you do that? That's great. And then your client is like this, and your boss is like this, and it's like your experience may vary, but like that's hopefully that. But what if I told you you could also do all of this, right? It's like, oh my God, you can also add like, what is it, handles, and do light mode, and do various, like you can do background and you could not do background, and then it just looks very cool. So there's this app, showcode.app. There are all the links for it. I will wait. I have 2 minutes left, so I can wait for a while people take the screenshot. It will take you to the GitHub repo. It also has an API and a local instance if you don't trust the website. So a couple of questions people might have. Do you develop showcode.api? No, I just think it's neat. Are there similar solutions? Probably. Have I tried them? No. Can I just survive without this? Probably. I am not your boss. Thank you. That's my dog. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rudolf. So next we have Fernando Pereira, who is going to talk about the Python C++ API with Nanobind. It may be up.
Sorry, guys. I think I just changed the tab for 1 second. Oh, there we go. All right. Well, hello, everyone. It's really hard now to give a talk because the previous speakers really put the bar so high. Well, I hope you are all having a good time. This is going to be a little bit more technical. Very sorry for that, but I hope you still take something from here. Maybe a little bit of interaction. Who has written programs with a C API of Python? Not bad. Who has tried Pybind 11? A few. And who has tried Nanobind? All right, I see a couple of them. Well, good guys. Good news is that we are actually trying Nanobind, and we have very preliminary good results. But you might ask why Nanobind is so new, maybe it's so unstable yet. Well, we are from BPFL and we run brain simulations. So that thing is, you can imagine, heavy as f. And then, of course, we want to provide the best experience for users, but we have code that is 30 years old. Yes, welcome to my land. So this is the kind of bindings that we had that were built already a long time ago. So you can imagine that maybe you have some Python object that you have to decrement before you can return from your function. Otherwise, you start having really bad memory effects. And then, yeah, you have to think about that on every return path. Now, welcome to C++. A return path can be an exception that is raised and it's going to be caught later on. So that thing really got really hard. And apart from that, we know that, okay, the C API, we still have to be really careful about the reference counts, and if something like getItem or the PyList getItem can return different kinds of reference count objects. So, but to start, is there anything really wrong with PyBind 11? Well, PyBind 11, for what it's worth, it's awesome. It's really has been there, it's super stable, but it can be still a bit heavy. So another difference is that, okay, Nanobind, if you can afford it, if you're on a recent compiler, C++ 17, that's really cool, you can use it. It's supposed to be a bit more light, so, okay, think about it. But maybe it's still early in some cases. But maybe, is there anything there that is worth for you to already move? Well, some things are really cool. You can already target the stable ABI. It has really good support for n-dimensional arrays. And then, okay, so yeah, some little improvements. But what we found really nice is these object wrappers, because typecasters, okay, they existed, bindings they are always there, even in the other project. But what I wanted to show, and they say here, this last option is only rarely used, and also not sure you can see this. But that was the piece that was essential for our work. Because, let me try now to go back to the slide. Is it supposed to be like this? Well, because we could, as you can imagine, modify only the bits of code that we have inside our functions with Nanobind. With Nanobind, you can have your original C++ function and return an NB list. And you create this list inside, and you are just happy with it. So actually, for us, this is kind of a C++ API to Python, which out of the blue sounds just amazing. And it's hidden inside, this authentic gem is hidden inside PyBind 11. Very sorry. Yeah. Cool, so how did we end up with some of that ugly code in the beginning? Look how cool this can be. You can check if you are in a list. If you are in a list, you can do an std move and you have your wrapper around the list. You can loop over it with a nice C++ syntax, or otherwise you do the original processing. So yeah, that's what I had. Thank you very much for your attention.
All right. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Muzher, last but not least, and he's going to show us how we can use self-optimize to become a better programmer. Round of applause for him, please.
A joke would be nice.
It wouldn't. What's a tractor's least favorite programming language?
Just need to
Rust.
duplicate it.
That was actually submitted by Daniel Pope a few years ago at PyCon UK. Don't know if he remembers that low moment.
Now you hit this big one. This one, hit it, yeah, and go extend it.
Champion. Thank you, Rodrigo. Right, I have 5 minutes. I don't want to keep you away from your weekend. any longer than I need to. So, final talk of EuroPython 2024. So, we all came here for a variety of reasons. You know, there might have been a specific talk or talks you had in mind. You want to network, you want to see the beautiful city of Prague, you want to skive off work, all of the above. But I'd wager the vast majority of us want to improve as a programmer, Python programmer, whether you're in a very technical role or less technical role, engineer, data scientist, whatever it is, you want to improve. And there's been so many great talks that have helped us in that regard. This isn't one of them, at least not in the sense you're thinking. What I have in mind is health. So how can you improve your health to be a better programmer or a better whatever it is you want to be? Now, first off, I have to show you a very important slide, and I really can't stress this enough. I am not a doctor, and what you're about to hear does not constitute medical advice. And to be honest, if you are getting your medical advice from talks at the end of programming conferences, then I'd suggest you maybe step back and reflect on your life decisions. But anyway, my goal here is more to provoke some thought, maybe if I'm very successful, to inspire some action. And this comes from my own experience. So about nearly 10 years back, when I was a grad student and didn't have a life, we had external speakers visit our research group at the University of Manchester. One of them was Professor Schreifel, you can see up there. And she still is based at the University of Southampton, and her research area is within the field of computer science, probably not an area most of you have much experience with. I certainly didn't and don't. And that's sort of human-computer interaction, systems interaction, from the human side of it. In simple terms, really, how can you live a better, healthier, more happier life when working with computers, working with systems, doing the things we all do as part of our jobs, whether it's fingers on keyboard or otherwise. And she didn't tell me anything groundbreaking, there's no silver bullet. There were a lot of thoughts already swirling around in my head with regards to how healthy a life I was living in front of a keyboard. I'm sure it's true for many of you. Some of you may already have really done a lot and improved in that regard, so kudos to you if that's the case. I'm going to give you 3 things. Okay, first off, these. Just looking out, I don't need a show of hands. I can see a lot of glasses out there. So it's not great staring at a screen all day. And a very common condition that I have that just based on research, and you can do a quick search, PubMed, Google Scholar, most of us in this audience, probably at least a conservative estimate, about a third, maybe a quarter, have dry eye syndrome. Maybe you've had it diagnosed, maybe it's gone undiagnosed like it did for me, but staring at a screen all day really makes it much more likely and can worsen it. So the obvious thing is to go to your optician or ophthalmologist for an eye test. And this is one aspect where actually it pays to be in the corporate environment, no pun intended. At least in the UK, you're entitled to, I think it's generally 1 eye test a year covered by your employer. Europe, I'd imagine, is similar in that regard, given it's, of course, the land of solid regulation. So do check that out. If you do go to a physician, which I highly, of course, recommend you do, they'll probably suggest several things. Again, just based on my experience, they might give you some drops and say, go away, use these, perfectly fine. You can buy them yourself over the counter. They may suggest you get one of those heat masks, which if you've ever seen, it's basically just a bean bag. You stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and then you put it on your eyes, and it heats them up. You give them a little massage after with your finger, and you may notice that some oils come out, and you wipe them away, and that's good. But like most health-related things, prevention is the best course of action. And we all, I'm sure, have heard so many times, take a break every 20 minutes, 20 seconds, look at something 20 meters away, wherever it is. What I'd suggest, though, is a couple of tips to make that easier. And one of those is to simply, when you're in a call, look away from the screen. Thank you.